So Jessica, so we know that July in Germany was the warmest month since records began. And any one of us in Europe, we have been feeling the heat. Tell us what's going on where you are.
Shouldn't be here. In fact, even in a usually warm summer, where I'm standing would be underwater, a sign of just how much the Rhine River here is receding. In fact, the water level of the Rhine is usually somewhere between 3 and 4 meters. Yesterday, the water level went down to 1 meter 35, and this is a huge concern here. It's obviously a big concern for the environment. Fish are finding it very hard to survive in very low levels of increasingly warm water. They're not getting enough oxygen. In fact, piles of dead fish have been found along the stretch of over the 764 miles that the Rhine stretches. So big concerns here about what this means, and of course with no real relief in sight as this hot weather looks set to continue and the Rhine looks set to recede even further.
All right, and what's being done to help people to deal with the heat?
Well, the government in Berlin is waiting until the end of the season to assess how much damage has been done to the environment. That is when they will also agree on the amount of compensation that can be given to farmers for lost crops. But certainly authorities around the country in areas where temperatures have been reaching the high 30s are struggling to provide water and resources for local people. Some places there's been water shortages, but of course authorities providing a lot of advice for people on how to stay cool. And in many areas the fire services have had to be on standby as earth and forests are becoming increasingly dry. In fact, in a city near here, Bochum, the fire services were used recently to refill lakes and rivers in order to keep the fish alive with a constant flow of cool water.
Yeah, just very briefly, Jessica, how are people reacting then?
Well, people here in Cologne yesterday were using the opportunity of these new beaches popping up around the city to have barbecues and go swimming in the river. But I did speak to them and they do realise that this heat wave and this lack of rain is a big worry here. This time last year they had huge rainfall here and saw floods. So people here are very worried about what these extreme shifts in the environment mean. And of course, where I am in Nordrhein-Westphalia, this region also an agricultural region, huge concerns in agriculture. As one woman I spoke to yesterday who said she has links to the farming community here, she said at the moment everybody is praying for rain.